All right, welcome everyone to episode, what are we at? 36? 36 of Games with Go, where we're going to keep working on our inventory system. And if you're new to the stream, if you subscribe to the Twitch channel, you get access to the source code repository. Every day we tag the code for that episode so that you can follow along at any point in the past and start with the code from that episode if you want to. And if you have an Amazon Prime subscription, you can use that to subscribe for free. Or if you prefer, you can do a one-time donation by going to the website at gameswithgo.org, and you'll get access to the source code that way as well. And that's the link in chat. All right, so today what I thought we'd work on is fleshing out the inventory system a little more. So currently the only way to pick things up is to hit T to take everything. But we'd like to be able to click on particular items, so we can just grab one thing. And then we'll need some sort of inventory screen so that we can draw what we're holding, like in our backpack, and then what we're holding on ourselves, so that we can equip things and move things around and stuff. So one quick thing I want to do is make a background for the UI area, just like we did for the event system on the left. It's got like a little partially see-through box. So I want to do the same thing for the inventory, because sometimes there's going to be map underneath it. We want to distinguish it. So that's easy to do because we can do it the same way we did for the event background. So we have this event background, which for now is just a single pixel texture that is halfway see-through. But you could replace this, you could go find some art that has some, or make your own art if you're an artist, that has a nice background that you want to use and swap that in. So we'll do ground inventory background. And then we can set that up in new UI. Do the exact same thing we do here. So we'll say we'll get a single pixel texture. Halfway see-through. And we need to make sure we set blend mode for alpha to work. Okay, so now we need to draw that before we draw the inventory stuff. So it's going to be the same way we draw it here. Same way we drew it for the event UI. We're going to draw the ground background. Ground inventory background. Only difference is this will be starting at the right edge of the screen. So we'll do some percentage of the screen width. Let's call it 0.7 for now. See how it goes. And the Y will be we have to cast everything. UI.screen width, UI.screen height. Window, sorry. All right, there we go. And okay, so that's where we're going to start. Let's make some variables here. So we'll do let's see. Yank this out of here. Because this UI is going to go from some point near the edge all the way to the end of the screen. So we're going to compute the width of it. So this will be start, and then it will be this long, and this will just be 32. All right, let's see if we can see it. Your better test will be, let's just make it not black. Make it red. Chat asks, Broccoli Game Dev in chat asks, how are the bindings for SDL2? They're really good. I've run into only one minor bug, and they fixed it since. One of the audio functions had a return type that didn't make sense, and they're made such that they're pretty idiomatic, so you're not having to write weird stuff to satisfy the C syntax. They give things receiver methods where it makes sense, so it's been really intuitive, and everything's worked well so far. Okay, so we're making this red so we can see it. Okay. It's probably a little bigger than we're going to need. So we'll just make this maybe 0.9. Remember, we're keeping things, we're trying to do everything in terms of percentage of screen size, so we get consistent sizes. You know, we need to do that too with these 32s. We'll want to multiply that also. All right, that's a better size. All right. Next, we'll want to detect mouse clicks to be able to pick items up. So to do that, we're going to need a mouse click input type. Do we have one yet? We don't. So let's make one. So we're going to make a mouse click, and a mouse click, when we have one, is going to need to store an X and a Y position. Or just we'll make it a position. So right, so when the UI gets a mouse click through SDL2, it's going to create an input type of mouse click and set position equal to position. Something some people might find interesting, this combination of things we have here, a struct which contains an enum and some data, is sometimes called tag union or discriminated union or some type. Some languages can do this with type safety, where you can't get at this position unless it's one of the tags that uses it. Go doesn't have that feature though, so you just have to make sure you don't screw up. So chat asks, how about adding window resizing to the to-do list? Maybe. It's not too bad to do, since if you keep everything done in terms of screen size to begin with, it's not too bad to do. You basically detect a window resize event from SDL, change your window size, and then kind of see what goes wrong. We'll see. We might we might get to that. Okay. So we're going to get mouse events with our SDL. So I'm going to remind myself how we did that by looking at the balloons project we did a long time ago. By the way, Broccoli Game Dev, if you want to get a feel for SDL really quick, probably the balloons video is the quickest way to do that. We kind of did a lot of basic SDL stuff real fast. Okay. So we had a get mouse state function. Let me drag this over here so you can see what I'm looking at. You know, we'll just open it in here. So I'm going to back up to balloons 2. Okay, we'll just copy this code exactly. So we're going to get our mouse state struct and our get mouse state function. And this just takes some of the stuff that's a little bit messy in SDL and just gives us a nice simple left, right button, true, false with a position. So we'll go over here to UI2D. We'll make this a position instead of an XY. All right. So then our game is going to need to know the previous mouse state, just like we did before. So previous mouse state and current mouse state. And by always having both, you can tell if a button's been clicked and then released. So let's get to our main loop. Set our current mouse state in the loop. UI. This might not even need to be part of UI. Let's not let's not dump more stuff in there if we don't need to. Less global state. Okay, so we'll do previous and current. Then at the end of our loop, we'll set previous equal to current. Then we'll say if current mouse state has not been pressed and previous mouse state left button has been pressed, then we've got a click. Okay, I'm just thinking about where to put this code. We'll just put it directly in here for now. So what we're going to need to do now is we're going to get the XY position, which we've got right here, got the position. And we need to see we're using it right here. Why doesn't that count? Okay, now it counts. Okay, so we want to see when we click if we're on top of any inventory items and to pick out the right one if we are. So we basically want to do the same math we're doing to find the position of an inventory item to check if we clicked on it. So let's pull this code out. Yeah, let's pull this code out into its own function. So get we'll get the ground item rectangle using its index in the array. Right, so given where it appears in the items array, we'll compute the position or the rectangle that it's going to get drawn to. So basically just going to do this. Going to return an STL rectangle. And this will be part of the UI. Just call this I. Okay, so now this can just call ground item rect with I. UI dot. Okay, so then we're going to say for I item basically exactly the same loop. Get the player's position, look up in the map what items are there, and iterate over them. Get the ground item rectangle. UI level. Well, we don't have the level till we get down here. Okay. In fact, why don't we do make a separate function. Check mouse. And we'll put that code in here. Lowercase. And we'll pass in the level. Okay. Then we need to set the mouse state. And pass those all in. So new level, previous mouse state, current mouse state. Cannot use pointer to a level. Okay. So now I've got a rectangle and we want to see if the mouse's current position is in it. So we've got the position there. Let's see if SDL has a function like that on rectangle. Has intersection. We can check if two rectangles intersect. So that's easy enough to do. So Broccoli Game Dev, you're asking about the Golang bindings. So you'll notice that the C way to do it is you have SDL underscore has intersection, and that takes two rectangles as arguments. The Go bindings, instead, a rectangle is the receiver. So you can call itemRect dot has intersection. So it saves you having to type SDL underscore all the time, and it's nice for being able to kind of figure out just from IntelliSense what's going on. Okay, so we need to give it a rectangle. It's just going to reflect our point. So we just make a single pixel rectangle. Oh. Current mouse state. All right, so that's going to return a Boolean. So okay, if we have an intersection, then we'll need to do something with the item. So going back to our click event, this approach is actually wrong. We don't want to tell the game that the mouse was clicked. We want to tell the game that the player has picked up a particular item. So, we'll do take item, and the item will be the data. So I think what this should do is return an item. Maybe we should rename this. We'll just check items, return an item, and if we don't find any items, we'll just return nil. Game. All right, let's try this. We're going to move this, the input variable. We're going to move it up here. So that we can set it here. So we're going to say if item is not nil, then the input type is going to equal game.takeItem, and input.item equals item. Okay, so let's add some code into the game to test it. So we're handling our input here. We've got take all, and we'll do take item. And we'll say level.move item. Take the input item and move it to the character. See if that all works. Input item undefined. That should be capital. I'm going to go to the harder test. Okay. Clicking mouse there, nothing happens. Not a good sign. So let's see what's going on. Let's go to UI. Go to check items. And let's see if we're even getting a click. And let's print out the X and Y positions. So let's see what we get. Okay, we're not even getting clicks. So we'll print out our buttons, see what's going on. Put some more print lines in, see if this is doing what we expect. Okay. That's happening for sure. Okay. That's working. Where are we going wrong? I think the problem is this shouldn't be in here at all. Yeah, because this only happens when we get a new level. I think this should just be down here. What terrible thing has happened here? Okay, so the problem is we need to get the level out of there. So let's just make gonna make a new level here, then set it. There we go. Oh my gosh. So something happened that time. 475. So we had a null pointer dereference right here. We should just get back. Oh, maybe level itself was null. Oh, I know what's happening, I think. Yeah. Chat, that is correct. This is shadowing it. So we need, let's see, what does this return? So we're going to do it that way. Yes. Okay. Fantastic. Programming is full of tracking down silly bugs like this. So now let's see if we're getting clicks. All right, we're getting clicks. The coordinates make sense. They're in window pixels. And we're not finding items, which is correct. We did it. We picked up a helmet. And we picked up a sword. It also plays the footstep sound when you do it, which is incorrect. So that means we're not setting last event. So these are our game events. So we'll pick up a new one. And we'll set and that'll just give the UI the option of playing a particular sound when something's been picked up. So now we can click, take one thing, or hit T to take everything. Cool. So the final piece to this is going to be having an inventory screen where you can equip things, I think. So what we're going to want to do for that is have like maybe a pop-up. It'll just come up in the middle and maybe show like a little grid for the items you're going to hold. I'll draw what I'm picturing. So we'll have like, we'll have some fixed number of inventory slots where you can hold things. And we'll draw the things you've got. And then I was thinking up here, we could maybe take the, like zoom in on the character's image and do, I think they call it paper dolls. So like your sword will go in a hand, shields go there, armor goes there, helmet goes there. And then we can maybe drag and drop items from our inventory onto the paper doll to equip it. And then when you're done, you can, hit I or hit a little X, and this will go away again. So that's kind of the plan. We can maybe start building the framework for this tonight, but this will obviously take a while. It's pretty complicated. We'll basically have like a state in our UI. So either the UI is in the regular state where it's showing the level, or if you hit I, it's going to be in the inventory state where the thing you'll see is the inventory screen, and that's what the clicks will consider. So maybe we start building that out. So we're going to have I always have to remind myself how enums work, because they're so weird. All right. All right, so we're just going to have the two states for now. You can imagine this growing. And then we'll keep track of it in here, in the UI struct. The starting state be the main one. So then here, inside of our game loop, we're drawing the UI, or drawing the regular game for the UI. So here what we'll want to say is if UI main, we're going to draw the regular UI. Else, we're going to draw some other UI. We might actually probably draw both, and we can just put the inventory on top of it, kind of like a modal. But either way, we're going to need another draw function. And let's just have this do something simple so we can see it happening. We can take this same inventory background just to make a red box. Let's say it just starts at 100, 100, and is 500 by 500 square. So for now, we'll try drawing it as an overlay. And we'll check for the key press. And so this will be an input that we don't actually return to the game because nothing's actually, the player hasn't actually done anything yet. We're just telling the UI that we want to see our inventory. So we're not going to be setting an input type. We're just going to change the state. So if the UI state is currently UI main, we'll set it to inventory. Otherwise, put it back to main. And this sort of logic with the states is no problem when you only have two states. But games often end up evolving to have dozens or hundreds of states, at which point managing it with if and else statements everywhere gets to be horrendous. And you can actually build kind of state machine systems to formalize it a little bit to make it easier. It's a common thing you see in games. If we go with this long enough to start having a lot of states, we might implement that. Okay, for now, this should be enough to make a red square appear and go away. Wrong. Let's see what happened. Are we getting the key press? We are getting the key press. Oh, but we haven't gotten a new level. You know, we don't actually need to do it in here. So I keep forgetting that this code only happens when we get a new level from the channel. And I'm doing that just to, like, for efficiency's sake. At this point, it doesn't make any sense to draw the level if we haven't got new information. That could change if we wanted to have, like, flare animations for fun. But for now, I'm going to leave that in there. So we will just draw the inventory every time for the game loop, which makes sense because we're going to be dragging and dropping things around. So if UI.state okay, we're getting in the function, it's just not working. And that's because we need to call renderer present. You know, we also probably need to call this again, so the screen gets cleared. There we go. You know what, I think we'll need to just do away with only drawing this sometimes. We will draw it every time. There we go. Why does it flicker? That flicker is no good. Boing, boing, boing. I guess now we're calling present twice. That could be bad. So let's stop. It's probably some sort of undefined behavior. There we go. So now we can flip our inventory screen on and off. Currently it's just a chunk of red. But pretty soon we can start drawing our items in here and then try to add a paper doll. Just using this image zoomed in, which might look kind of funky, but we can try it. Yep, chat caught the multiple presents too. Good call. Okay, so next up, we'll try and finish up that inventory screen. And then after that, I'm thinking about how much further people want to go. Wow. Oh, I hit F5 and it was trying to run. I don't think I've set that up. So I'm wondering how much further people want to go with the RPG, or if people would rather wrap this up and move on to OpenGL. So if chat wants to vote for more RPG versus start OpenGL in the near future, let me know. And if you have any questions about this stream or previous streams or programming in general, feel free to shoot questions in the chat. So one option would be that we keep doing a few more episodes on the RPG. The other option is we do one more episode to try to finish up the inventory and then move on to introducing OpenGL, like starting basic stuff like draw a triangle, what are shaders, how do shaders work, so on and so forth. Chat asks teapots. That's one option. I was thinking of kind of following along with learnopengl.com, basically doing that, but in Go. They've got some pretty cool, mini projects like rendering an asteroid field. There's rendering a kind of Android thing that's pretty cool. The Android, I guess, replaces the teapot. But it's a really good site. So I was thinking of just kind of getting OpenGL up and working with Go, and then going through a few of those exercises in Go to get people a feel for how it works to work with the OpenGL API. Because it's pretty weird if you're used to programming in Go or Java or C#. And then once you've got an idea of it, people could just follow along with that website on their own. So anyway, let me know how much more RPG you want. We've got a pretty good basis here for people to build on if they want to make an all-out game with it. All right, if there's no more questions, I'll be signing off. Feel free to let me know on Twitter, or I guess you can whisper me on Twitch if you'd like more RPG, or if you'd like to switch to OpenGL soon. All right, good night, everybody.